And it's Gordo here from Gordo's Games, and I'm bringing you some more Digimon TCG content. So today we're going through a deck profile. So basically Blue Omni meets Imperial, merge them together, and you basically just have Imperial with Blue Omni at the top of it, but with extra bit spice. So yeah, that's the deck. That's what we're going to go through. I won't ramble any more details as to what, how, where, and when. I'll just go into it now. But I want to say thank you to all that have supported me so far. Thank you for all of the feedback, comments, people that have attended on my server, people that have checked out my Twitch, and thank you to Team Crit here for recently taking me on as well. But if you do like this content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications so you know when this content goes live for you. So let's get into the deck profile. Let me stop talking. Alright, okay, so starting off with the eggs then. I won't bore you with the details. It's Imperialdramon, run 4 Omnimon. On swing, has jamming, it draws a card. So, really good card, really helps you cycle through the deck. The last one is more of a flex spot. Omnimon, you can make this an Upmon, you can make it a Wanyamon, it's completely down to you here. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference. This one here just gives you 1000 DP buff if you want to spend during that same turn. So it can make your Imperials like 13k on occasions. But that's the DGX. We just run 5 of them. Nothing too spicy there. Alright, level 3s we run 14. So we run the piece de resistance. This is Beamon. It has jamming. It is a problem. It is a threat. There are memes for this card, how much of a threat it is. I mean, it's running Mega Zoos because it's a problem rookie. And it's because it lives. It has jamming. It's a horrible thing to deal with. And sure, it gets taken out by something else the following turn because it's only 2k. You could take it out with a rookie of your own. But I've already got one of your security there by that point, so I'm generally not that bothered. Moving on to the next pieces. So, we run a 3 of Gomon, Inheritable Game 1 Memory on deletion. Really good if you play under a blocker. Really good in general because if they go, say for example, they go to 0 and they go to take out your Imperial and that, or go to take out any part of your board and you have this underneath it, it can stay all the turn away from them. And if you have the tamer down, it resets to 3, which in this deck you generally will look to have the tamer down. So generally a really good card. Vmon, we have 2 of it. Once per turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, trigger draw 1. So basically, you have a Imperialdramon out, you've swung. You then play Digivolve into an Imperial, restands, you get a draw off the Digivolve, you get a draw off this effect here. So generally you're plussing off that quite a bit, so it's a good card. And then last but certainly not least, we've got the Vanillas. So Gomon 2 cost 3k. It's good for Memory Choke. It's good for extending your turns. You know, you play this down, you can still Digivolve on top of it and stay within turn to pass turn, but you've gone to level 4. If you've got the tamers and things like that down, it's just generally a good card. And then the same principle, 3 of Electmon. Memory Choke, 2 cost to play. Just a really good card. So that is the level 3s, and there's 14 of them. Now going to level 4s. So, first of all, one of the MVPs for this deck, Frigimon. It's a 4 cost, 4k DP, but it's 4 cost to play, and it has jamming. So it's a threat. Jamming equals a threat in general in Digimon. The fact is it's not going to die unless it's to an option. And 4 cost to play, if you have a tamer down, you can drop this on board and put your opponent on 1, so you can memory choke with it just as easy. So if you put something here, a rookie or something, and then just literally hard cast this on the board, obviously make sure you have another level 4 in hand to Digivolve on this one, because you don't want to start bricking. But you're going that little bit wider whilst putting a threat down that they're going to have to deal with. And then we have got 4 of Gorilla. What is this to say about Gorilla? Gorilla's been around since set 1. He will be around for a long time to come. He's a 1 cost to evolve. He's 6k to drop on board. He's got 6k body. So 6 cost to drop on board. Worked out. He's generally just a really good card. If you have a tamer down in this deck, if you go, let's say your lineup is Vmon, Digivolve into Gorillamon, you're down to 2. Imperialdramon for 3, you put your opponent on 1 memory. If they don't have a tamer down, that's a problem. That's a massive problem to deal with because you can't catch up to Blue Imperial that well. So that's the reason for Gorilla. Run a 1 of XVmon. XVmon is effect when Digivolve and unsuspend one of your level 4 or lower Digimon. So you can unsuspend itself and suspend another one. It's completely down to your choice when you how you trigger it. But you can restand your Vmons. You can restand your Frigimons. You can restand other threats to potentially push out for a last swing of the game. Otherwise, it's just there as that odd tech choice just to just to Digivolve into and restand that chain itself. Who knows? It's generally there. It's not mained in here, so that's why I run the 1 of. But it can come up where it's going to push you for that last hit of the game that you needed. And then last but certainly not least, 3 blockers. Grizzlymon is Grizzlymon. Blockers are needed. Blockers in this game are like your negates of Dragon Ball Super. They are blockers in any other kind of game. They are literally there to stop you from taking damage. And where this is an aggressive deck and generally aggressive build, but I still find you definitely need blockers. There's no doubt about it. So run 12 there. Moving on to level 5s. Alright. So the main man himself, you have to have 4 of it. You can't have any less if you're playing Imperial Imperialdramon. Reason being, when attacking once per turn, if this Digimon has Imperialdramon in its name, unsuspend it. So the inheritable is impeccable. Does everything you need it to do. If you swing, say your turn is this, you swing, you have jamming, you get Imperial on it, restand, swing, restand, swing. You're getting 3 attacks just from having this guy under the Imperialdramon. It's a really strong card. And then his counterpart, Dino B. Dino B is a really good card on this essence stats. It's got piercing and jamming. So if they have a blocker, they won't want to block this because it's going to swing straight through them and get that extra bit of damage. The only reason I run less of this than the Imperialdramon is the Inheritable on this is too good. And I have found myself points where I've actually had no blue on board and then I had Hammer Sparks in hand, where I could have gone into Imperialdramon if I just saw this first, because I could have Hammer Spark to go back to 3 to go Imperialdramon, restand to swing. So on occasions this can bite me, but it's not very often that happens, to be honest. And then last but certainly least, 2 Monzimon. Monzimon is in here just on that occasion I do want to try and go wide. If you have a tamer down, you play this, passes turn to your opponent, but you've got level 5 on board. Yeah, sure, Imperialdramon's going to cost 5 to Digivolve off of this, but that's why you have Hammer Sparks in the deck for if you want to extend on that. But generally, it's to go with another card that I'll show later in the deck, so let's just go to it. So, first of all, the main man himself, Imperialdramon. 4 of, no less. Wish could have more, but generally speaking, with Omni, you do have more. Technically, you have 6 Imperials in this deck, which is pretty damn stupid. Card restand when Digivolve restands a card, any cards that have jamming in it as a keyword. That itself is ridiculous because it restands itself. You can restand Vmons, Frigimons, Imperialdramon, Dino B. Depending on how wide your board is, you can potentially restand quite a lot. So it's just a really good card. And 2 Metal Garurumon. Metal Garurumon is the reason things like Monzimon and that here. Kind of the old style blue on me where you get the really cheap line just to try and go up into, because you can go, if you got the, let's say you've got a level 3 on board, you go Gorillamon for 1, or in Raisin actually, because you don't really matter about being on board. So you go Gorillamon for 1, Monzimon for 2, and then Metal Garurumon to pass turn, you're on 3. That's the ideal one. But I mean, if you can do it, if you've got the time and resources to do so, stack underneath this another Frigimon if you can. So get a Vmon and a Frigi. Because if this does survive, you can play out the Vmon with jamming and then a Frigi with jamming the following turn. Happy days. Because that's the whole point of this. You're going to literally get more threat from things that were jamming just by making them replayable. Then if you do get things like a Imperialdramon on board and you've still got those jamming bits out, you go into Imperial, it restands it all. So it's kind of a go wide theme instead of just go tall. So it's my take on it. And 2 Omni. I mean, it's Omni. It does Omni stuff. Generally, this card is really good. It's still the best Omni at this stage. Ultra S is good, but this is generically just better in more situations. Choose one of your opponent's Digimon, delete all of your opponent's Digimon that share a name with it. So you call a name, if there's multiple of it, you kill all of that card. That's things like Gomamons, Grizzlymons, anything you can think of. And if you see more in life, let's just say his counterpart, the deck that this hard counters Diabora, you call Diabora Whiteboard. It's just it's a great value card. And then on top of that, when attacking, you may unsuspend this Digimon by returning one of this Digimon's level 6 Digivolution cards to your hand. So you return things like your Imperial or Metal Goromon, which means you're not limited to 6 level 6s. You potentially have access to 2 more just by the fact these bounce it. So it's a really good card. Run 2 of it. You could run more, but I just feel 2 is enough. It's my removal card basically. Options for Hammerspark. What can I say about Hammerspark really? It's just a really good card. 0 cost, gain a memory. Insecurity, gain 2 memory. It can take a turn away from your opponent. It can extend your turn. Obviously, there are things like Terriermon and all the kind of memory stuff and things now that are causing issues for things like this. But generally, still feel like this, it comes off more relevant in more times than none. There has been games where it's been shut off. I'll admit, it happened to me. Let's move that out of the glare there. And then last, but certainly least, Davis. This card adds so much value. So on play, reveal the top 3 cards in your deck, and you can add 1 green and blue Digimon, 1 green and 1 blue Digimon to your hand. So I see a Dino being a Imperialdramon, I can add them both. But it lets you cycle your deck, lets you see what's coming up, and obviously lets you take a card and it can stack your hand. Just a really good card, and it resets you to 3, which in this deck you really need because you can see the level 5s are all quite high cost. They're not all the cheap kind of Bastimons and Monzimons. So a really, really good card. So that is the deck itself. As I said, it's played overall very well for me. I played it yesterday in locals. I went 2-2. Generally, I had my matchups I lost were against green, and that wasn't because I drew bad or anything of the sort. The deck didn't play bad in any means. I had all the cards that I wanted. It was just green had the control. It was just there to do the job a little bit more than mine could. So, you accept the loss at those points. But if you like the deck, don't forget to leave a like on this video here. If you've got any ideas yourself, anything you want me to try, anything you think I should try, drop me a comment. I'm always happy to try new ideas out. As I said, we're coming up to the end of 1.5, so we're just trying to get the last few deck profiles done, and then before the madness of BT4 and the new decks that arrive for that one. But thanks for tuning into Gordo's Games. As always, let's get digital, let's get going.